Hey guys, my name is Raquita Henderson. I'm based out of St. Louis, Missouri, and I've owned a photo studio here for the last 14 years called Pinxit Photo. I'm excited to talk to you guys today about my favorite thing, which is albums, particularly wedding albums. Today we're going to be starting with the basics of building a wedding album process. The thing that I hear over and over again from photographers interested in starting to offer wedding albums to the client is that the process seems overwhelming. And there are too many choices and there are too many options. And if you feel overwhelmed by all the options and possibilities, just imagine how frustrating your clients must feel. So I think the best way for us to get started in this process for you guys is to talk through creating a sample album. The very first thing that I want you to do in this process is to intentionally choose the wedding or family portrait that most represents your brand and the client that you want to attract to your business. I want you to pick the couple or the family that did everything that they're supposed to do. They took your advice about what to wear. They took your advice about where to get the outfits, like literally everything that you could set up. They have done everything you want a client to do. Where to have the session, they took your advice about everything. So if you could manufacture 30 of these clients every year, you would call that a successful year. So I want this to be the wedding or portrait session that you would want to produce every time you have a session or a wedding, so that you choose that as your first sample album. One of the big questions I get asked a lot is, who do I use for albums? Choosing the right album company for your sample album and for what you sell to your clients requires an adjustment in how you think about the album company that we're choosing. The right companies should be partners with your studio, not just you as a customer. They should be partners to help you build the album process that you want. For me, I am a big fan of Miller's Lab as a starting point for newer people who are involved. I use Miller's for all of my portrait albums. This is one of our senior books that we use. This is a signature book from Miller's. This is an 8x12, so it's a decent sized book, especially for portraits. It's a gorgeously printed book. Edge to edge, beautiful printing. We've had it in the studio. This kid graduated in 2019, so we've had it here for about 3 years. It has handled all of the wear and tear of being held up by clients and being looked at and held on to for clients for quite a while. It's even been to a few trade shows and such on display, so it has been through a lot of hands and a lot of contact, and it's still gorgeous, and it holds up beautifully. It is one of my favorite and most popular options for portraits, so I absolutely love them. This is another Miller's book. This is their signature album with a suede cover. I am very partial to suede albums, and I'll tell you why. When you hand this sample to a client, they automatically respond to the feel of the book. Like, they love the texture and the touch of it. And that is a very important thing. When we are selling books and we are getting ready to put a book in somebody's hand, the thing that we want to do is activate all of their senses. We're talking about touch, feel. Like, in the process of selling to a client, you want to try and touch all of their senses as much as you can. So giving them a book that has some texture on it is always a great thing, and Miller's does a great job with this pressed like pattern cut. I don't know if you can see it, but this pattern cut in the suede gives it a very interesting hand feel. And again, we've got the gorgeous prints from Miller's. This is one of our most popular books, this family album. We did stuff with their children too earlier in the book. So this is Miller's makes a great book, and I'm really excited for you guys to try them out. Um, a friend of mine had me try out and utilize Album Epica. Shout out to Aaron Hernandez for the Album Epica hookup. These are some of the smaller press books from that company. Miller's, of course, makes a press book as well. I have just always sold their thicker albums. But this is a great starting point, especially for those who are nervous about price point as far as what we're going to be talking about for clients. These press books are gorgeous. They do a beautiful job of displaying your work to clients in the same way that a larger book does, a thicker book. And these are so much nicer than anything your client is going to be able to make for themselves. So, like, these books put shutterfly, fish, snap, people thingies all to shame. So, I would always, I always keep one of these on hand so that when the client tells me they're going to make their own, and I hand them this and go, oh, so you're going to do a press book, right? Something like this. And they always go, oh, mine don't look this good. That's on purpose. Like, I want them to understand that what we're doing is going to look so much better than anything that they could do themselves. So, those are two great companies to start with. Remember when I was talking about the brand of your album company should match your brand because they're your partner. One of my favorite album companies is QT Albums. And they do a beautiful kind of, this is a, the lid of the box the album comes in. And this is a Japanese silk, which I adore, which makes it very unique. And this book is, this is a Japanese silk book with a very beautiful deckled edge art paper in it. I fell in love with this book at WPPI last year, and then immediately came home and ordered one. I would strongly recommend that you go to any trade shows that you can. I know we're in the middle of Corona, and we've already gone past trade show season, but WPPI moved to August this year, so get your vaccine, protect yourself, and make the trek if you can make it. If it's something that's feasible and realistic for your family, absolutely go, because there's no better way to get a handle on what you want to sell and to build a relationship with the lab that you choose than to go see them at the trade show. To meet someone, get a card, put a name and a face to a handshake, and get to meet someone, or an elbow bump at this point, right? So, this is the gorgeous book from QT Albums. And normally we show these wearing white gloves because it increases the idea of how much the book is worth and how precious it is. And I'm supposed to take these pages out, but I leave them in because it is an experience to have to move the tissue paper over and go through the process of looking at the book, right? But they do a gorgeous job. Beautiful printing, beautiful papers. It's just one of my favorites. I also use Graphic Studios a lot. I brought one of their entry-level books up, their Go book, which is one of my favorites, especially for people who are starting out. The Go book comes in this beautiful box like this, and it has a acrylic cover on the front, and then you lift the book out of the box, and then the book itself is beautiful. This is a Go book with an image cover and a linen side. Again, I chose the linen because I like the texture and the feel of it, and I want them to like the feel of it. We do have a lot of leather options in the studio, but I also like to show different options that don't necessarily, that give them the opportunity to try something different and more custom and more for them. So, because there's only so many different ways you can customize a leather book, in my opinion. So, they do a fantastic job. So, this is the Go Book. One of my favorite things about the Go Book is that it makes itself a beautiful, gorgeous, like, tabletop display just by being in the box itself. It makes itself a gorgeous tabletop display. So, absolutely think that it's something you should think about. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And then this week, I think it's really cool that you guys are getting this video and getting this education while Floricolor, one of my absolute favorite album companies, is running a special on sample albums. If you go and sign up for an account with Floricolor, you can get a free sample album at no charge. So I would absolutely, it's super duper important that you choose the right company. And if you sign up for Floricolor and don't feel like it's for you, don't take them up on the free sample, because it's not going to do you any good to have a sample that you don't like or doesn't fit your business aesthetic. But again, this is a full suede book. See how the suede changes color? I don't know if you can see it. But this is one of our most popular books. It is gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous book with the gold gilding. And it's a fabulous, fabulous hand feel. It feels good in the hand. It's substantial. Like literally, if you can get your clients to hold on to one and touch it and enjoy it, so few photographers nowadays are doing albums and making them a substantial part of their business that it makes you stand out. Like off tops, it makes you one of the elite, one of the few that are doing them. So absolutely, if you have the opportunity to present to your client a book, by all means, take advantage of that opportunity and hand them something that they can really enjoy. So those are the companies that I really love. Those are the 4 companies that I use in my studio the most. I could take you on a walk through the studio and show you several different samples. We have no less than, I'm going to say 15 or 20 in here right now, because we don't show via digital. We don't prioritize digital delivery. We prioritize album delivery. So on our website, we talk about albums. In our email that we send, in our initial email, we talk about albums. When they come into the studio, when we talk about the things that we can do and show them, we do that by doing and showing them different albums. If they are getting married at a winery, we got an album for that. If they're getting married at a urban spot, we got an album for that. If they're getting married out in the country, we've got an album for that. Wherever they're getting married, they have an acute quirky renewal, I've got an album for that. Are they doing a like, it doesn't matter, like I've got an album that it will relate to their wedding. So, and that's what we're trying to show them while we're showing them the work that we do. So we strongly recommend, if you have the time and energy, that you, and if you don't, make the time, because it will increase your bottom line tremendously. We survived 2020 on album upgrades and album sales to clients who had not finished their album process. So we strongly recommend that you think about and embrace the idea of printing for your clients. It is the cornerstone of my business. It is why I've been in business for 14 years. And we strongly recommend that you consider it as well. So step 2 is album selection. So I'm going to switch this over to a Loom video so we can go over how I go about printing. I'm going to pull up one of my favorite weddings, and we're going to go about selecting the images selection and showing you how to actually design a book. Guys, so what we're going to do here is I am going to walk you through designing an album from one of my statement weddings. This is a wedding from 2019. It's Justin and Raven. It's one of my favorite books. We already have a studio sample of it, and they have already gotten their client copy. So we are literally, I'm pulling up a new album for you guys. We're going to start, and we're going to just start doing a design. I chose my basic setups are through, I'm using a Graphy book because it's right there for me, and I love Graphy. Easy to do. I chose a wedding book. I always choose the largest ratio in whichever direction I want to go. I like a horizontal or vertical book. You can literally pick it however you want it. Let's actually I haven't done a vertical book in a while. Let's do a vertical book. And then I'm going to do the acrylic cover as an option. And here we go. We're ready to go. So it adjusted the book from horizontal to vertical. And so we got to find a picture for the cover of the book. I feel like, let's see. I think I like this. Let's see. Yes, that's a good cover image for me. Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna go with that. I like the smiles. Let's see if there's anything else that it stands out to me for real. No. So, maybe this kiss though. Let's do that. I like that better. Okay, so we're gonna do that as cover, and the cover's done. Boom. All right. So I did not do any syncing of cameras for this wedding because I was slacking on my getting ready for this wedding, so I did not sync the camera. So my getting ready pictures are kind of all over the place. I could, using Fundy, go through and pre-select and group my images together, but I don't necessarily consider that beginner level Fundy use. So we're just going to go with the images as they rolled into my computer. And my goal is to get a decent wedding album done in about 25 minutes. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to answer some of the questions that folks asked me regarding wedding albums while we were getting this going. Let me pull my questions up real quick while I do that. Here we go. Here we go. So, okay. So someone asked how long it takes me to design an album. Generally, it takes me about a half an hour to 45 minutes to design an album. If I've already picked, like if we're including narrowing down the images, which is part of my workflow, I'm going to say it probably take me about an hour. If I forgot, so the way my system is set up, my calendar gives me an alert an hour before a client meeting. If I forgot that I had a client meeting and was not prepared, I can literally have an album done and ready to show a client in about 30 minutes. Like, push come to shove, we're going to get it done in 30 minutes. No questions. Let's see. The thing that I love about Fundy is it really is as simple as dragging and dropping and deciding what you want to do and how you want to frame the story. I kind of really love this set of images because it's mommy getting her makeup done and Little Bit getting her makeup done at the same time. I kind of like that a lot. And then, let's see. I love these. Let's see. Let's do those two. Yeah. And then, let's see. Do I retouch the album images or do I outsource it? So, the images that I use for the album are the same images that are showing up in my client's album in their image gallery. You know what? As I'm designing this, I have decided that I don't want to do, I think I do want to do a horizontal. Let me see, album size. And we're going to make that adjustment because I changed my mind. Crystal Cleanse cover. Save changes. And it's really that simple to change. And then I can make the adjustments that I want to make. And I think I want to make some minor adjustments to the fuse sprays that we started. I want to switch to this. I also want to switch to, this one is fine. I want to change this one a bit, I think. I want to add an additional image to this. And I also want to filter out images that are already used. That's the thing for me to keep me from thinking about using an image already. So I take them out of my my image gallery down here so that I don't have to look at them again. So I don't have to pick again. Unused images. There we go. Yep. And then let's see what we were doing. Her daughter was important to her, so I would be trying to keep the poo in as many images as possible. And actually, I would swap this and do the crop so that the little poo shows up there. Yep. So do I retouch the images? So no, I don't necessarily retouch them any more than I do for their gallery. I'm a bit of a naturalist as far as images are concerned. I don't subscribe to a lot of retouching generally, but it depends on the client. So if my client is a person who has, in our previous interactions, has shown that I need to do more retouching, then I will do a specific level of retouching. A lot of times I actually use Fundy for that. If I want to retouch the images just in the album, then I use the pro enhancements to retouch my photos. The intelligent retouch is great. Like the intelligent retouch is great. I use that a lot. Like the intelligent retouch does exactly what I need. It's not overpowering. It's not real hard to get into there. So I use that a lot if I'm going to use it. If I'm going to use retouching. Why do I like my album distributor over others? Generally, I really like my album companies because I feel like they're partners with me. I don't feel like I am necessarily just a number or just a random person shopping. I feel like I have a relationship, and I've built that over time by going, like I mentioned, going to bridal shows, and I mean not bridal shows, to conferences and getting to know people and making myself seen a little more. And that's important to me. So I really like that about the companies that I use. I feel like we should put the little boo in here. Let's see. My groomsman, I should get some getting ready of him in here. Let's see. 1, 2. Let's do this, and this. I want to go this way. And actually, I'm not mad at that setup. I want to highlight his suit. I think he looks great in there. Yeah. Highlight the watch. So yeah. How do I design layouts? So as you can see, as I'm rolling through here, I'm designing in a storytelling mode. So like this is him getting dressed. We're rolling right into the prep. I don't like to overcrowd images. Some people would tell you that the 3 or 4 images that I use per spread is a lot. I typically try not to use more than, let's see, I want this one. Use more than, say, 4 images per spread. It depends on what that spread is going to look like. I really like that layout. But I also shoot with the album in mind. Like, I shot these images with the intention that they were going to be an album spread. Like, I knew what I wanted when I was in the moment shooting that. Like, when I shot this picture of this little girl in this chair, I knew that some of those images were going to be used counter to her mom getting her makeup done. Like, I knew that going into the day, and I'm shooting with that in mind. I'm shooting my wedding with the intention that I know that I need to have images to tell the story. And as I'm looking at the day, I'm thinking about how that story's going to lay out, because I want them to see it the way that I saw it. Like, I'm looking for the common threads that I can pull together and put together in a book. So, for sure. Let's see. I like to put the details, small and big, on their own particular spread. I normally do a spread for getting ready, and I do a spread for the ceremony, and then I do a spread for the reception details. I feel like I had some other getting ready details. There were shoes in here somewhere. I gotta find them. Details. Where are those shoes at? Let's see. There they are. Shoes and a dress. That's what I was looking for. And I think I'm going to use this dress picture. Oh. I put it in twice. We can clean that up, though. That's what happens when you're not looking and paying attention. No, I got to pay a chicken. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, I want to move this over a little bit. And I want to see the bride's name. There we go. So yeah, so that's how we would lay that out. Do I allow my clients to have any say in the design? I absolutely do. So this pre-design I would be using to show my clients how I view their wedding day. We do this all in the meeting where they get their wedding images, whether we do that online or we do that in person. So if they were online, we would literally have them in a Zoom meeting. I would share my screen and we would go through this wedding design. I would do a slideshow and show them the design, and then we would go through and talk about how they feel about the design. If they want to make changes, we do have incentives for them to keep the design as is. If they keep the design as is, they get a percentage off of the purchase of the entire design. If they want to make changes, they lose that discount, but we offer a smaller discount if they spend a certain amount over their studio credit. We work in studio credits. So So yeah, we have a lot of different ways that we go about it. Yes. She did road pictures with her girls and the baby and her moms and his mom. So we would, let's see, do we have one with the boo-boo not grabbing her head? We do. So I would make that a spread. Let's open that up a little bit because I see we got some heads chopped off. Yes, and we're going to keep that just like that. And I'm going to put this actually before the getting ready. And I'm going to put her pictures right after the road pictures. And there we go. I'm going to put the details there. Generally, my guys' images normally don't take more than 4, maybe 6 or 8 spreads at most. It depends on the guys and what they're doing and how they're hanging out. He got a gift. I thought I saw that. She gave him the glasses shown in the detail picture, so we're going to use that as a design piece in here. Oh, I think I missed it when I was back here. Oh, there we go. And we're going to put that in there for sure. Look at guys. There he is getting a gift. He's reading the letter she wrote. Let's do that. And if I drop him there, it gives me... Oh, that's an extra picture. I don't want this middle picture in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on its own spread here for a minute because I do want to use it. I just don't want to use it in this grouping of images where I want to do that. And I actually want to adjust that because I don't want that crease on him in the middle. Here we go. And then I didn't mean to smoke that down a little. And I want to move this in because I want the pictures to be less square. I want them to be more square. Yep, that's perfect. Yeah, perfect. So, and then I want to use this toast with him and his guys to be a spread. And then we're going to go into the first look. Like, that's all I need. Well, oh, nope. That's not all I need. One other thing I need from this. We did these great pictures of both of them in their window light. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I want those to be in there too, just like hers. All right, here we go. And I want those to be spread out like that. Yep. Now we're going to go to the first look. I'm also going to do a spread with just these 2 images as details. So we're moving into the color images, and that's kind of my breaking point where we get to see things kind of brighten into color. And first look. Perfect. We'll do a couple of these portraits together. I'm moving faster than my computer will let me. Let's see what we can do. Perfect. Now, let's go with the butt grab. I like it. And let's go with an up close. Let's make it a 4-way and add the kiss. Yeah, I dig it. And then we'll do this horizontal. And a closer crop. I like that, but it crops her head if I put it in too close, so we're going to go with that. And we're going to go with these. Now, if you notice, my rankings from Lightroom are showing up in here. And that's also a good way to minimize the number of images that you have to work with. You can star your favorites and then use that as a filter in Fundy, which is always great. Where's that? There it is. 1, 2, 3. Wait. One, two, three. And let's change the layout because I don't like that one. I actually want to put this in the middle. Yeah, there we go. And then we can go into, I can add this to the details page. Let's add that. Let's make that the big picture, the rings. Yeah, see? And then we can do a spread of bridesmaids and groomsmen, and then we can call the portrait section done for the moment. I have to put in one. I want to do all her and her bridesmaids together. Do I have a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm pretty sure she had 8 bridesmaids. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. And I would make sure that primary people were the larger image. In this case, her sister and her maid of honor would be the more primary pictures in this setup. Ooh, we can add this to our details page. And this. And then adjust the layout accordingly. There we go. Let's do it like that. Perfect. And let's see. I need to do the guys. Here we go. Grooms, groomsmen, best man. Those are the best men. So let's do the horizontals. The verticals. Is that all of them? I think so. And we want to make sure his groomsmen, his best men, are the primaries. There we go. Perfect. Just like that. And then we gotta go with, here we go. Then we go right into, I need a full screen. I don't have any full bridals here, so let's find a full of the bridal party. And then full of the bridal party. Where is it? Groomsmen. Oh, here we go. We got a whole of the bridesmaids here. Here we go. So let's do the bridesmaids and the groomsmen. There we go. And I'm going to swap those because the bridesmaids have less room for lines there for cropping. I want to make sure that they're good. And then I have a whole wedding image of them that I know I want as a full spread. This is not it, but it could work too. Let's see. Actually, let's use the one we marked as. All right, yep, there we go. And then let's see. Okay, and then I wanted to do a full spread of this image. There we go. I also kind of want to do these two together on a spread, and I'm going to move that inside. There we go. Give them a little headroom, and then we're going to go on to the ceremony, which is back here. Here we go. So we've got, as I'm scrolling through, I see some must-have moments. Like, if nothing else, this should teach you guys to sync your cameras, because my God, this would be so much easier if I had synced my cameras. Or had even adjusted my metadata in Lightroom before I export it. Anything. Okay. Let's see where my ceremony starts. And it starts right about here. There we go. So that's her and her dad waiting and her walking in right there outside. And so here's her and her dad getting ready to walk in, and I need one of him watching her before she walks in. And I know I've got that somewhere. Where is it? Did I not pull that in? Oh, here we go. Alright, so this is him walking in with his mom and her walking in with her dad. This is her waiting in the back. And that's him walking in. And then, of course, we're going to do her mom and his mom, or is his grandma? I don't know. Anyway, she's lighting the candle. She's important. And then we're going to do maybe 4 or so per 3, 4 or so per procession images. Let's see what the layout I like. Actually, I think I'm going to want to do 6 because 4 is not enough. 5, 6. Let's see what happens if we put all 7 in there. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that works. Perfect. We're going to do the Maid of Honors. Or clearly the Maid of Honors because they are walking alone. And then I'm going to do my ring bearers and our ushers and our flower girl because she is always super important. And then I'm going to do, let's see, the bride coming in and my groom in tears. Because, yes. And I want his tears big. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Big tears. And then I'm going to do dad walking her down. 1, 2. Those 2. Yeah. And I really love this picture of these 2 pictures of her and her parents together. Yeah, I like that a lot. Okay. And then we'll go with, let's go. This is what happens when you don't sync cameras, people. We've got some lovely whole ceremony here. We've got I think we've got a few more before we get to the kiss over here. Yeah. We've got the some cute moments here. Vows. His vows, her vows. We've got rings happening here. I'm going to do all 3 of these for that. I want that in a, yep, and I want the 3 of them, the 2 of them in the middle. There we go. Perfect. Give me some symmetry. We're going to do the, let's see if I've got anything to match this unity candle picture. I can do these emotional groomsmen with that. And then get to my kiss, which was back here. I'll get to my kiss. There we go. And the celebration. And that's my ceremony. Nice and done. Then we could do family portraits, ceremony details, and so forth. But I'm at 81 pages, and I haven't finished the ceremony. It would take me another 15 minutes to finish this album. But you guys got to kind of see where I'm going here with this. We're about 30 minutes into this. I would sit with my client and let them adjust. Like I could show you what this client's final adjustments look like to their album. How many edits do I allow my clients to make? Okay, so my camera died, and then my computer died in the middle of that last video. So I didn't get to show you making the last few pages, but I am going to answer the rest of the questions that I had come through in our conversation. So I'm going to go pull those back up. Here we go. So, do I build the album from their favorites or design on my own first and then let them tear it apart? So, I do let them go through and adjust my design with their favorites. Like if I picked, normally images go into a gallery in bursts, in like groupings. So like there are maybe 2 or 3 images from the same grouping of something that happened within like, a 30-second gap. If they like picture 2 instead of picture 3, then we will swap that out. I don't have a problem with that. But no, I don't generally, like they have to pay me a fee to be able to design a new album from their favorites only. Generally, I do that because it takes people forever to pick their favorites, and the entire point of me the starting point is to help them kickstart into it. And if they think that they want to start from scratch, I'm all for that. But they have to pay me to start over. Like that's extra work. It's part of my contract. It is listed in there. We talk about it at the point of booking. We talk about it all the way through the process. I talk about their album and how that process is going to work all the way through. So that's a big thing for us. How did I decide what sample when there are so many options available? And do I find that making images large and going across the scene, for example, has bigger impact? So especially when you're first starting out, I tell you to buy the sample that you are excited about. You are going to sell the thing that you are excited to present and excited to tell your client about. If you are if the acrylic cover makes you ooh, if you like the snake skin or the printed leathers or whatever it is that you like that makes you excited to show it, that's the thing you should buy. I'm a firm believer that is the thing that you should buy. You should not be waiting to try to figure out what they like. That you are the expert. They like what you like. So if you are shown that, they will connect with the things that you like. So the thing that you're excited about, that's what you're wanting to get them invested in your sample album, is being excited about the idea of an album. Now, they might not end up buying the exact book that you show, but sometimes they do. But the whole point is that they will be able to grasp an idea mentally of what their book should look like. The cover options and so forth are less important when you're just starting out than the actual sample itself. Do I find making images large and going across the scene, for example, has bigger impact? I do, but only when it serves the purpose of the storytelling. In the album that we showed, hold on. Hold for me one sec. Oh, there it is. I brought their book up here so that I would be able to show you guys what their finished book ended up looking like. In this book, I don't think we had a whole lot of full, like honest to goodness, full spreads because of the horizontal nature of the book, but it absolutely has more impact to be able to show this way, to be able to go, like, this is the image that belongs across that whole page in this way. So And I've never had anyone say, I don't want that like image of my entire bridal party who spent all this money and all this time and all this energy being in my wedding. I don't want that image like as a showcase piece in my book. I just haven't. So yes, I absolutely think that spread to spread is something you should absolutely go for. I never put a lot of images on a page unless it's details, because to be quite frank, I don't want just like I don't want them printing a bunch of little 4x6s. I don't want them to be looking at little 3.5 inch by 5 inch images in their book. Like you can't see super tiny images in the book. Like the entire point is to be able to see the pictures. And we can't do that when they're super little. Like, where are the smallest pictures in this book? I want to say, we did we do the details in this? We did. We had to. Getting ready. First look. That was... Let's see. Actually, those might be the smallest images. Like this is one of the detail pages. We didn't do super teeny tiny details in this book. We just didn't. And this book ended up being 100 pages. Like this is a 100-page long book. This one is from Floor Color. This is their Lunac suede line, which is, again, very popular for my clients. Additional questions. Do I have success with add-in sales with albums for parents? I'm going to say about 30% of my couples add on books for their parents. It depends on how active their parents were in, like, anytime the parents pay for the photography, the couple always upgrades because our studio gives them a studio credit in their package. So usually when their parents have paid for their photography, they upgrade and buy their parent albums because it's the only thing that they're coming out of pocket for. Their extra pages, their wall art, and the parent albums. So a lot of our clients end up doing that when the parents are involved, but most of my clients, I don't have a lot of parent involvement, so they always refer their parents to me to buy a book. And most parents don't want to have an exact replica of their kid's book. So they're the basic prices for us. So $50 a page is where we start at albums. And most parents don't necessarily want to make that investment. Those moms that will. I've had a mom spend like $2,500 on a book that she got to design. We did it over the phone. I made a book that focused on her side of the family instead of the bride and grooms. And we went through and did it just like any other couple would have. And the mom got to make her changes and buy her book. And she bought a 50-page book. I've had it happen. Let's see. I'm fumbling my way through figuring out all the communication leading up to the album sale. Okay, so for me, the communication starts on your website. On your website, there should be a tab or a blurb and I'm talking on the very front page. There should be space in your front page where you're talking about more than just digital files. I realize that your website is a digital platform, but we want to get them thinking about what they're going to do with those pictures immediately. So literally, in my email that they get sent when they do an inquiry with me, I don't send galleries. I send albums hosted on Fundy's album proofer tool. So that is what they get. Like, we don't do full galleries that we send out. We send out full albums that they have to page turn to look at the album. So from the very beginning, like in the opening email, I talk about how I want them to sit around with their book when they're old with their grandchildren, looking at wedding wedding pictures. I want to plant that seed that if a wedding album isn't important to you, or wall art isn't important to you, I'm not the right photographer for you. And that's one of the things that helps me narrow myself into the client that I want to have. Every client, I can't shoot. There are 250,000 weddings a year, and I can't shoot 250,000 weddings. And this is one of the ways, or one of the first ways that I narrow myself into my ideal client. I only need 25, 30 girls a year who are excited about their wedding album and want one to be able to maintain the life that I want to live. So, like, initially, we want to do website blurbs. I want it to be in the email that I send out. I want it to be something we talk about when we do their engagement session. If I ask them about who they're hiring, I'm asking in relation to, I can't wait to design some album spreads from that florist. I love that florist work. We do beautiful stuff with them, and it always makes for a beautiful layout in the wedding album when we do the tablescapes and so forth. Like, I am talking about the album at every opportunity. When they come into our studio, or even if now in COVID I'm doing digital more often, I am literally showing books the way that I've been showing it to you. I do the thing where we can see the texture change on the book. I'm doing where we open the design and I talk about how we shoot the day by going through the day. Like, I'm going to start with our getting ready time, and I like to start when makeup is starting, and I show that I start when makeup is starting, and I ask about the makeup artist, and we have that conversation while we're going through the design, like literally while we are going through the design. Like, this is like literally how we talk about it. So for me, all that communication is baked in to all the regular communication that we would have. When I email them and talk about timeline, I'm also talking to them about, when I'm talking about timeline, I'm talking about how that's going to influence their coverage and thusly their wedding album. We need to be able to do these things. I need more time so I can get the details for your book. I need more time so I can get the details. I'm coming in to do details for your wedding album, blah, 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 blah. Like, I'm literally going to bake that into the conversation as much as I humanly can. Next question. How much of a price markup do I put on my album? So for me, if you've ever heard me teach before or talk about it, you already know the answer. We do everything times 10 here, and I'll tell you why. We need to be able to buy the album. I need to be able to buy a reprint should something go wrong, and something does go wrong. Half of the studio samples in here are samples that I got because I made a mistake. I spelled somebody's name wrong on the cover, and I didn't catch it, and neither did the couple. Wedding date was wrong. Once the couple asked me to go from a square to a rectangle, and when we did, we chopped off some heads, and we didn't notice until it got printed. They didn't notice, and I didn't notice. We reprinted it. It became a studio sample. So we want to make sure we've got one for us, one for them, one to reprint. Generally, if I want to be able to buy a sample, I've got a sample money in there. Taxes and studio expenses. The studio gets paid a cut. We need to save 401k retirement, etc. and so forth. And then this is my discountable count. So I've got I can give up to 30% before I start going into studio costs. So I can offer, like when I said that we have incentives, that those three give me the space to be able to offer the incentives. So if I want to offer 30% off to be able to close a book at more pages, then I have the space to do that without necessarily costing myself money, without having to take my cut or the studio's cut or the reprint cut or any of that out of it. So we do a times 10 all the time. Is it appropriate to put your logo on the cover or spine, or do I personalize it? So I don't know if I did it in this book. I did. Okay. So this is how we personalize. We don't put anything on the cover. We don't do anything on the spine or on the back. Now on the back, you can't see it real well on this book because this book is black. But on the back, we have our logo is embossed in the back, but you can barely see it in this book. But on the very end of every page, and I do not charge my clients for this page, I put my favorite walking away image, and then I put my logo, and contact information and all that fun stuff on the inside of the very last page. I do that so that friends and family who are looking through that book can take a picture of it and know who that was if they're asking. So the bride doesn't have to go looking for that information if she's showing it to somebody. It's there. It's to me, it's no different than Hallmark putting their logo on the back of a card. It's the same thing. So we absolutely tag ourselves in the book. I don't charge my clients for that page. The only time we don't do that is if the client maxes out the number of pages in a book and we don't have the page to be able to do it. Like, that's the only time that I don't put that page in there. It's an automatic must do for me every time. I feel like I have probably killed the 45 minutes Fundy gave me for this. If you guys have questions, concerns, want to talk, feel free to friend me on Facebook. Shoot me an email, hit me in my DMs on Instagram. I'm happy to go through and answer any questions that you have. I'm here for your success. I want you to be successful, and anything I can do to help you get there, I'm here for you. So thanks so much, and I'm excited to talk to you later. Bye, guys.
Hey, everybody. How you doing? I think I'm coming through. Hopefully Raquita will come back on here in a second. So we had a couple questions about Facebook. And
I'm coming back. Give me a second.
That's okay. Or not about Facebook. I'm sorry, about Lightroom. So I posted in, we have a number of guides available. If you go to fundy.com/guides, there's a workflow guide. Kind of talks through how to use Lightroom and stars, keywords, etc., photo mechanic of using them, and kind of that workflow process of going from your camera to Lightroom, photo mechanic, Lightroom into Fundy Designer, and then off to print. So those can help a lot. And then are you available, Raquita, or should I answer a few questions before you come back?
Here we go. I'm ready. Okay. Popping in right. 3, 2. Haha. That should be on, right? On. There we go. And the video should be.
There we go. Hey, how you doing?
Hey.
Good job.
There we go. So, Who's got questions? I got answers.
All right. So, who are the album companies offering free samples?
So
right now, I saw Jamie popped in.
Yeah, Jamie from QT was saying that they have a free sample thing going. I didn't know about that till today. Ooh. And then Floricolor was who I was talking about previously. Yep. Their free sample program goes through the 9th.
Yep. All right, so there you go, guys. You can download your Fundy Designer, use Raquita for a discount code, save 25%, and then design your sample, set it off.
I totally wish.
How much do you charge for extra spreads in the album?
So we work in a kind of backwards kind of way. So we charge anywhere from 50 to, I think it's 150 is our max per page, which is double per spread. So anywhere from $100 to $300 per spread.
Yep.
We give a studio credit, and then they can buy what they want and spend over that. Yep. And our spread cost does not change. So if they have let's say $1,000 credit, and then they want a $2,500 book, they pay the difference.
Perfect. And then I know somebody asked about photos on another photo, and I actually have the designer open real quick because I can just show that real quick. It's pretty. Sure. That's cool.
Awesome.
All right. So the thing to remember is this is a drop zone right here. That's what these are called. This is one of the senior album templates. So if you drop a photo in, you can drop it on top of a photo and it'll swap it out. Or you can drop it, bottom side next to a photo and it will add it to that drop zone. We can move that over. So the key is if you want a photo on another photo, it has to be in its own drop zone. So I'm going to drop it instead of within this drop zone, I'm going to drop it on like a corner or something. And then it's within its own drop zone, right? So you can kind of make it bigger and stuff and then move it wherever you want, right? So, and then using the drop zone doohickeys, you can move it back and forth, just like a layer in Photoshop or Canva or anything else, right?
So move it backwards so it goes, so that you can put that behind those pictures that are already there, right?
Exactly. So I can move it backwards.
And it should drop behind those pictures.
Backwards, right? So I can drop it behind all that stuff if I wanted to. And then I could take this one, I could move it all the way to the front if I want. And so, right. So just pretty much just like Photoshop or Canva or anything like that. And I've completely made this not a very pretty album. It was.
But you showed how to do the thing.
Exactly. So that's how you do that.
Somebody asked me if I can export directly from Lightroom into Fundy, and how my process works is I export for my online delivery, and when I export for that, I also do an export into a file literally called album images, and then I import that folder into Fundy. You cannot export directly from Lightroom into Fundy without the extra step of making a folder and then importing that folder.
Yep, exactly. If you are in like a photo browser like Photo Mechanic, you can just drag those photos into the image well down at the bottom and import those too, if you want. But Lightroom doesn't support drag and drop for some reason. I don't know why they haven't. Why doesn't Lightroom support drag and dropping yet? It's been out forever.
Jackie asked, when I purchase sample albums, how do I implement the different companies? So for me, what I do is I choose whichever company is the most expensive, whether that is like, if I'm going to offer Pressbooks, then I choose the company that is the most expensive for Pressbooks, and I base my pricing for all of the stuff off of that one company. I don't want to nickel and dime my companies, my clients. So Miller's and Album Epica and whoever else in the world offers Pressbooks. I'm going to use the company that I am like most attached to and has the highest cost of goods. And I'm going to use that as my pricing for Pressbooks. And then everything else should fit into that pricing without it being difficult. And I also break my sizes into long edge. So anything 8 inches and smaller, so 8x8s, 6x9s, 5x5s, 4x4s are all the same price. 8x10s, 8x12s, 10x10s are all the same price. And then 12x12s and larger are all the same price. I do everything that I can to minimize the amount of this is going to be this price and this is going to be that price for my clients. I want it to be as simple as possible, so I don't the only thing that they're paying extra for in building their album with me is something like an acrylic cover. But like different cover options are all the same price in my studio. You don't pay more for leather than you pay for silk, than you pay for linen. It's all the same price in my studio.
Yeah, and that's key to keep the decision simple, right? Because if people have to think too much, they're going to say no.
And it makes it less about how much it costs. Yep. And like if you have to worry about, the shrimp is $3 and the chicken is $3 and the steak is $3, instead of just which protein do you want, it changes the way you think about how you order. Yep. And so I don't want them thinking about the price as little as possible. So I remove that as an option.
Yeah. Question from Rachel: what's the difference between a press book and a photo album?
Okay, so this is all verbiage across multiple companies. To me, a press book is the thinner, smaller book like this. Like it is literally a thinner book. Albums for me are always thicker page. They have the more, like you can hear that moving. That is like the difference between books, and albums for me. Now, all the companies all have different names for everything. There are lay flat books and lay flat albums, and like literally every company has a different thing. But I generally say book, album.
And that's the key, is you don't want to get into the technical stuff with your clients, but Rachel, as you're looking and choosing a company or choosing an album, you can get a press album too. So press printing is basically magazine printing, right? So it's using a press printer to print. They look really good, and new press prints look great, but they don't look quite as photographic as a photo album. So photo albums are made with a photo print. Like, when you print a photo, that's what it's made for. It's going to be a little clearer. It's going to look nicer.
Latanya asked me, how do I determine which album company I offer the client? Because we have so many samples in the studio, I have seen my clients interact with the things in the studio. Like, they have been here 2 or 3 times by the time we get to it's time to order. And they have had the opportunity to touch things and hold things. And by the 3rd or 4th visit, I know which book they're interested in. Like, it's not a secret. Brides come in and they touch the same book every time they come. And then when they sit down for the album order, they're like, how did you know I love that? Because you touched it every time you came.
Yep.
So if you pay attention to your clients, and if you don't have that opportunity, the thing that I'm doing is I'm choosing the thing that aesthetically went with their wedding. Like, if their wedding was like navy and they had all of these different elements, then I'm trying to pick a book that goes with those elements. If they had a wedding that was all sparkly and stuff, I'm trying to choose the album company that's got the glitter, who's got a glitter cover, or got somebody's got a Tchaikovsky crystal cover, whoever, whatever that is, that's the book I'm going to show my girl who's all about the sparkle.
Yeah.
So that's how I'm thinking about it. I'm not so tied into, this is my art time. This is when I really get to flex and be really creative. So nobody goes and asks a painter to paint for them and then wants to pick what kind of paint he uses. They don't need to pick the kind of paint I use. Yeah. I'm an artist. I am going to create this for you and offer it to you. And then we can tweak as we go because it's an album. But yeah. I'm this expert. I am deciding this is the book for you. And they normally go, ooh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
They're not thinking about the 50 other options I got. They think this is the right one because I said so.
Yeah. And I think that's where really separates the photographers, that they're giving a full service to their clients, is actually helping them make good decisions, versus just a photographer that's like, hey, here's the choices, choose what you want.
Exactly.
And choose the photos you want and I'll make it for you.
So Jackie also asked, do all of my albums have one session in them, or one per album? And I assume, so this has been
for
a question.
The sample albums.
Yeah, this has been a question that's been coming up a lot because I've been trying to get people to get samples. I'm of the firm belief that your sample album should be exactly what you want your client to buy. This is not a portfolio moment for you. Yeah. This is a sales moment.
Yeah.
Your portfolio is your website. Your portfolio is whatever you have them walk through your studio and look at. The sample album is a sales tool. So you need to be able to show them what you want them to buy. And you don't want them to buy a book. You don't want to show them a book with 6 pages of wedding and then they turn the page into 6 pages of senior. What you're telling them is they only need 6 pages for them to be able to understand what a wedding album is supposed to feel like. Yeah. And then what you're saying is they don't really need 100 pages of wedding album. No, you need it all.
Yeah.
I want you to have it all. So I want to show you everything.
Also,
and if you can invest in it, how you gonna sell it?
Yeah. And that sample album needs to be the biggest, baddest album you offer.
Don't buy the 8x8. Don't. Let me say this in the least Raquita way possible. Don't cheap out because it's cheap it's expensive to buy a sample. Yep. A sample album is not the cheapest thing in the world. In my experience, I have spent upwards of $600 or $800 on a sample album, depending on where I get it from and what I put on it. By the time I get done doing the biggest album, the biggest size that I want to show, whether that's a 14 by 18 or a 9 by 10 by 14 or something like that, By the time you get done with that book, maxed out to like 80 to 100 pages with whatever cover upgrades and all that fun stuff, even with the discount that the companies offer, you're still going to spend $400. Like on average, you're going to spend $400 on the book. But what you're saying to your client is, it was worth it to me to be able to show you that so I can tell you that it's worth it. Like, what are you saying to your client when you don't have a full book? I couldn't afford it, and now you can't afford it?
Yeah.
Don't want to do that. No.
Yeah. When you walk into the Toyota dealership and you're on the showroom floor, there's no Toyota Yaris with AM, FM radio only and cloth seats on the showroom floor.
There's not half a Toyota.
You gotta go look for that one.
Like, that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Like, show the whole car.
Yeah. Awesome. Let's see, make sure Natalie's been texting me over questions. We got those.
Somebody asked the question and I missed it. I don't know. Who else did I miss? I can't remember. I think maybe I got them all. Anybody else have any more questions? Did I miss anything?
So we had a question about pricing, which that's a really long conversation. So I'll kind of simplify it. So okay. Do you include a base album in your packages?
So I include a credit. So I am one of those people who include a studio credit. So in my studio, let's say for ease of math, they booked me for their wedding for $1,000. It would never happen. I'm just putting that out there. Never happen. But say it's $1,000 for me to shoot everything. They get $1,000 credit in my studio. So, and because I know that all of my products are at a times 10 markup, I know I need to save at least 10% of that to be able to buy the product that I am offering them.
Yeah.
So I need $100 to be able to buy that product that I marked up times 10. So when they come in to buy their album or to look at their album, let's say I show them a 20-page album and they love it. And I've said that, or let's say 40 pages I've never shown a 20-page album in my life.
Yeah.
A 40-page album. And at 40 pages at $50 a page is $2,000. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
$2,000. So they've got $1,000 credit. You know, math is not my thing. So they got $1,000.
We need to have a math for photographers course.
Somebody needs to. It won't be me. So they get $1,000 credit, and then they're going to spend $1,000 to cover the rest of the pages.
Yeah.
So, and now I need to save $1,000. I mean, I need to save $100 out of the extra $1,000 to pay for the extra pages.
So $200.
I need to save $200 to be able to buy that book.
So I hope that helps. So that was from Nicole, and I think we got everything. So if anybody has any more questions, feel free. Raquita's being awesome. Help us moderate the Storyteller group this month. So luckily you can just hop in and ask questions in the Fundy Storyteller Facebook group for those. I think we got all of your questions. Raquita's presentation, as well as all the other presentations from today and yesterday, we are under the Facebook tab under the videos for our Facebook page, and then also we'll be cutting together some cleaner versions and posting up on our YouTube channel also. So they will be available. They're available right now on the Facebook page, and then some cleaner versions will be available on the YouTube channel. Awesome. Thank you so much, Raquita.
Anytime, guys.
Yep. And we are so close to getting the sweet V and going skydiving.
We are doing it.
Yeah.
I'm jumping out of a plane with you.
That's right.
Can't even believe it. Thanks, guys. Love you all.
See you later, Raquita.
Of course.